all the turkeys, there's avian flu, so no turkeys for Thanksgiving. You're like, ah, dang. Well, at least we've got Christmas. And then, like, Christmas, you open the Christmas present, and it's like, Gatling. It's like, what? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Stick to the Topic here with Kalibur. Say hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, it's good. Just woke up from a nap.
Just woke up from a nap. How many naps do you take a day, given the current virus situation, now that you can stay home more often?
Oh, I don't know, at least once a day. Sometimes, because when I stream and stuff, I definitely want to feel less tired, because, you know, it's quite late.
So today's topics, it's obviously not been a super eventful week, and plus with fighting game tournaments being off, there's a lot less going on in terms of tournament results and that sort of thing. But GranBlue Fantasy Versus still pushing ahead with DLC. So we got a new character trailer, so we're going to talk about Zooey in a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Then today's main topic, the big Guilty Gear Strive beta test. I forgot to write Strive.
Oh, boy.
I'll edit that in a minute. But the big Guilty Gear Strive beta test, we've got plenty to say about that, I think. Nothing conclusive, but, you know, enough. We had enough experience, a few hours playing it over the weekend. And then finally, the online local event that we were running on the Kalibur Twitch channel for GranBlue Fantasy Versus had a good turnout. It was like 8 or 9 people showed up, I think.
Yeah.
So let's start off with topic number 1. GranBlue Fantasy Versus, new character trailer, Zooey.
Ooh,
have you seen it?
Zooey. Yeah, I saw it, like, once. I didn't think I watched it twice, actually. I think I watched it exactly once.
Not interested at all?
It's not that. I mean, like, at that point in time, I'm just like... Because the trailer, I believe, came out exactly when the beta came out, right?
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
It did. So then my entire brain was just like, yeah. And I was just like, I'm thinking more about the beta the entire time. Just like, oh wait, there was the Zooey trailer. I was like, oh, whoops.
Right.
Right. I'll have a look. But then, wait.
I mean, it's difficult. I was interested in the character because I just thought she looked interesting from the sort of reveal trailer a few weeks ago. But I don't know anything about this character, Zooey. I don't play the mobile game, so I don't know who she is. I don't know the lore. And like you say, with the Guilty Gear thing overshadowing it, it's like, we also played a bit of Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 before, so it's like, that's something we're familiar with.
Oh, yeah. Like, she even showed up in the RPG mode of this game, and then it turns out, like, but we skipped, no, the thing is, we skipped it.
Yeah, we skipped all of the dialogue.
Yeah, I was like, I saw her face, I was like, oh wait, I've seen you before. I was like, and then, maybe I should have paid more attention.
Was it a 3D model of her, or was it just like an image?
It was the image where they talk during the cutscenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a video on Zooey so far, and basically, I'm not super familiar with puppet characters, so I don't really know how they play anyway. But as I understand it, she might be a little bit like Dizzy. Apparently, Dizzy in Guilty Gear had a little flying bird or something. Flying fish.
I can't remember. Yeah, it was like that, or like Ramthalal in Xrd as well, like where she would control like her swords and stuff would move.
That's
like,
right. Yeah.
On their own and stuff. Yeah, it is quite interesting. I watched the trailer once, but then I looked at the move list on the website, so then that kind of got a better idea because, like, you know, I couldn't really see much on the trailer.
Yeah. Well, I did the video on Zooey, and then I looked at the website after I made the video, and I was like, my lord, there's like special attack 1, and then special attack 1A, 1B, 1C. And then special attack 2 is 2A, 2B, 2C. I was like, what is going on? This character's got, like 3 times as many moves as every other character, it seems.
Yeah. I was worried at this point, like, any new characters wouldn't really add much, but I was wrong, I think. Like, definitely I think her archetype is definitely fresh. Still fresh in this game, I think.
Do you think this will be it with Zooey? Do you think this will be the end of introducing new archetypes?
Oh, yeah, it'll be... Because, like, the more archetypes they add, it's going to be way harder to introduce even newer archetypes because, you know, it'll most likely clash with another similar character, right? Like, even right now for set play characters, like, we only have, like, what, Fairy? Who else?
Luane?
Luane? Yeah, Luane. Yeah. Like, Luane kinda does set play stuff as well. Yeah, definitely as well.
Good point.
It looks like her character is definitely full-on set play. Like, it literally revolves around that.
You gotta set that dragon up. He's gonna spit a laser out, and then while the laser is being spit, you're supposed to run up and do something else.
Yeah, well, Fairy has, like, you know, long-range buttons and all that stuff. Luane's got Giant Lady.
Giant Lady. He's got friends that just sort of show up.
Yeah. But like this character seems like she needs the dragon whole thing, like to get the opponent blocking and then
Yeah,
set
that seems
stuff
like
up.
it's a big part of that. So anyone who hasn't seen the trailer, I mean, you feel free to watch the video. I posted up last week. But in general, Zoe is a girl who is apparently, I don't know, what did people describe her as?
Apparently
Power
she's
incarnate.
She's apparently a primal beast, whatever. Like
A primal
that thing
beast. Yeah, her
So,
true
yeah.
form is when she's part. She's like centaur, right? Part dragon, part human. But she has like a human form as well, or something.
I don't know. Yeah, she's got a human form. She's got like multiple forms apparently. Apparently, this form I heard was like the best form she has. I'm
I
not sure.
see.
But I heard that once, but I'm not sure.
Right. Well, I
that's
mean,
true.
you've got to find a way to get people to spend more money on gacha, right? They've got to have
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
form, a better form, an ultra rare form, a super ultra rare form, and then there's the pay $500 form.
Yeah, it's like how Jita has her, her was it the blue hair form? I think that was that's her. Apparently that's like the ultimate form apparently
Right.
for the protagonist. But now they're doing it with most of the other characters. Yeah.
Right. And clearly the only reason that exists is to get people to spend more money on gacha trying to get the cards.
Yep.
Well, with Zoe, I mean, what's interesting about her character is, I mean, I was taken aback. I was a little bit surprised. I thought, given her stature, she would have a higher pitched voice. She has actually got quite a low pitched voice for her look.
True
And for someone who's everyone's saying is like, she's ultra powerful and she's going to bring balance to the universe or something. She's actually quite like diminutive in size. It's only when she like sticks together with the dragon portion that she becomes mega huge.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, like her dragon stuff they look all cutesy, and then all of a sudden, giant dragon combined, like, and then into like super laser beam. I'm like, oh, okay.
I was so shocked that she becomes part of the dragon, though. I literally thought she was riding a horse.
Yeah, that's me too. I thought
She
so
slots
too.
into it.
But it turns out like it's like how like in like was it like Power Rangers where they like do that Megazord combine?
Yeah. They do like a cool pose and then they kind of squish their bodies into a straight line so that they can slide into the cockpit.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, yeah.
I like that aspect of it.
I like that,
Basically, I just, as a character though, I just don't know if this is the sort of character that I would know how to. I wouldn't even know where to begin playing a character like this.
Definitely, it is like the more technical type of player for sure. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
But on the sliding scale, she's not like a puppet character like Carl Clover in Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
As I gather, that was very much more complicated because you literally are like you're like controlling two characters at the same time. But it seems like with Zoe, that dragon, you basically press a button, it's going to fly to a certain place, it's going to shoot the laser, and then it's going to disappear. It's going to be probably quite automatic.
What I thought it was like, apparently you have an extra gauge, and that gauge like determines how long you can keep the dragons out.
I've heard that, yeah.
But like it still sounds very limiting. I feel like you still need to do something to work on that gauge and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the unique skill button, I think by doing unique skill, you build that gauge.
You definitely need the unique skill, yeah. And then I think you can cancel the unique skill into other attacks that can gain you more skill if it hits. So I'm like, okay,
it's like Narmaya all over again. It's going to be so complicated. But that's the thing. That's the nice thing. I think the nice place that GranBlue fits into right now is that it's a simple game. It's got more complicated characters. And since most people are here because they just want to have fun with it, it's like they don't need to just choose the top tier characters to try and win because it's like in this game, it doesn't feel like it's about winning. It's about having fun with cool characters. So it's like I was playing Narmaya for a while. She's definitely a little bit more involved and more complex than the other characters. But it's like, it doesn't really matter if I win. I just want to play Narmaya and have fun with this complex character.
Yeah, definitely because this like GranBlue is like it's a universe that's been out for a while. There's a lot of people who love the characters themselves. Definitely, just being able to control their beloved characters is definitely one of the one of the goals I think that Cygames Arxis were definitely going for with this game.
I think they hit the nail on the head really well with that. I mean, for example, like you used to play Gran for the first like month and a half. You were playing Gran exclusively, right? And then like you quite recently put quite a lot of time into Percival.
Well, like when the game came out, I was like, who should I play? Like I guess I always play like the original characters just to like see what they feel like, and then branching out is like there's so many cool things. Like every character has like, ooh, that looks cool, I want to try this, or ooh, this looks strong, I want to like try this. It's just like, it's so tempting to just try everything.
Yeah. I mean, actually, Street Fighter V did have quite a few characters that I thought looked really interesting. But for example, like when the game first launched, it was like, okay, Birdie looks kind of interesting, but he looks terrifying. He's like, I don't know, like, why did they have to make him so? Because Birdie was actually kind of fit before in Alpha 3. I think he was like quite well built, quite a strong sort of British biker. Street Fighter 5, they're like, okay, he's gonna be overweight and he eats too much. It's like, come on, isn't this trope done? Do we really need a character to be overweight like this? And then Fang, like, Fang looks interesting, and then he might actually be quite a lot of fun to play, but like, he's just too goofy. Like, it's like overdone to the point of caricature, which I don't feel like. I don't feel like Street Fighter 2, the original's designs were like that.
Yeah, they were definitely like, they definitely went really like cartoony, if that's the word, if that's the right word. But like, I don't know
Zany.
if that, zany. I think, that might, I don't know. I think that maybe like they did that just to appeal to a wider like audience, because like like cartoony and stuff doesn't really work all the time in Japan, but then it might work in other places because like people can relate to it. While in GranBlue, everything is got that just that anime style. I don't know if that'll work.
Yeah, I think there was definitely people were worried about the anime style not catching on in the West.
Yeah. Like, there will be people in, like, the West that will like that style, but not everyone will relate to it because they haven't really grown up with that style.
That's definitely, I feel like that's one of the biggest things about manga and anime. It's not really that, I've always thought this, and I've talked about it a few times on stream, but it's like, I don't think of manga and anime as like a visual style. It's just like visual cues, things that Japanese people understand. Like, the best one I can think of is the Japanese manga sweat drop. Like, in every other culture I've ever seen, I've never seen a person, when they're panicking, sweat, like actually jumping off their head. But it's like, in manga, like, I'm panicking, and then a sweat drop. People draw sweat drops, like literally launching off the heads of their characters. And it's like, these visual cues are things that Japanese people have grown up with.
And then when you try to localize that, it's just really hard. It's just like, you end up making like an entirely different thing just to like make up for it.
Well, that's Zoe. I mean, she's going to be a sort of puppet character. Probably not as involved as some of the other anime games, but definitely for this game, she looks like she's going to be more complex than many of the other characters. I think she looks interesting. I'm going to definitely try her. I'm not as dedicated right now. When I saw Jita and Narmaya, I was like, oh yeah, definitely. But now that I've seen Zoe's gameplay, I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it, but I'll definitely check her out. She looks really cool. I like the sword. I like the shield. I like the dragon stuff. Visually, I think visually she's very appealing.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, she's got that mix of cute stuff, but then she's also like, with the sword and shield, she looks like she can be tough enough at times too. It's like, it's very Japanese for me.
Yeah. I feel like they get the balance really well. So, with this DLC, they're also launching a new stage and avatars and Season 2.
Oh yeah. Well, Season 2 was like technically already like confirmed, but like they gave out the time slot that they'll come out in, which is quite exciting. Yeah.
So I'm guessing September, October, November.
Yeah.
I reckon they'll release all 6 of them before December. What do you think?
Before this, man.
Depends how many characters they plan. I don't know how much of a cash cow they're thinking of this game as. Like, is there going to be a Season 3 and a Season 4 all in 2021?
That'd be amazing, like, because these characters are pretty, like, they're pretty solid, like, on their own. And then having so many characters come out, like, that fast is like, oh, wow. Very impressive.
And it doesn't, like, overly shake up the meta. In Street Fighter, like, a new character shows up, it's like, okay, whoa, now we all need to deal with the fact that Seth and Gil are here. But in this game, I feel like, well, they could just keep adding characters more and more, and essentially, they all have that main basic foundation. Target combo, throw, EX moves, get them in the corner. Like, the game plan is fairly similar for most people.
Pretty much, yeah, that is true. Like, most of it, like, corner carry combos, like the wall bounds and all that stuff is very universal, but then there's just that little extra something that makes it different for each character. Like, how Swords has that punch move, he can basically punch you from anywhere on the screen. Like, and then who else we got? Like, Narmaya definitely has, like, it's got the stances and all that, but it still works generally the same, like, as most, like, characters, like,
So it should be an easy game to add characters without kind of shaking up the meta too much, actually.
speaking of the meta, they're like doing the balance update when she comes
That's
out.
right. That's right. That's one of the most important things about Zoe. So she apparently she's the Sith Lord that brings balance to the universe, right?
The Sith
And
Lord.
along on the same day, she brings a balance patch. That's just poetic.
I'm gonna beg Zoe to smite Gran and Catalina.
What does that mean?
Like nerf them.
Right? And at the same time, you're going to main Zoe, are you?
Well, if she does it, then I'm like, thank you, Zoe. I'm forever in your debt. I will play you forever.
Wait, but you play Gran? Or are you that serious about Percival now?
I don't know. Like Gran and stuff is okay, but there's just like there's. If you want to win games, there's like no reason to stop playing Gran or Catalina.
Ah.
Like there's no benefits to playing other characters. Literally no benefits.
Right. Just so for the sake of the variety of the games.
Like I think there's I
right.
feel like more characters need more like to be more viable. Like
Right.
they are viable, but like just consistently. But then you said before, yeah, definitely characters. There aren't any super weak characters that'll just lose to everyone. But at the same time, like there are just the game itself just feels super broken with some of these characters.
Yeah, like we've been enjoying it so far, but we've only had it for 2.5 months so far. Like if it continues at this pace, then the game could just die if a new game comes out, right? So it's important to like get this balance patch right so that it continues to have this same momentum that we've had so far.
There's a lot of broken stuff, but the thing is, like these broken things are things that you and I think we're okay with. Like in fighting games, there's always going to be some broken stuff, but then it's the fact that if we get rid of everything that's broken, everything's just going to be super lame and boring, right? It's just the reason why games are like exciting is because the broken things that are there are things that we're okay with dealing with.
That's
like
true.
If we get hit by Zangief's 360 pile driver, we're okay with that because
Right. That's the point of the game. That's why he's there.
That's like, I mean, yeah, okay, sure, why not? I hate grapplers, but I'm just gonna keep playing the game because it doesn't really affect me too much.
Yeah.
At least no one. It's like not like top 8 isn't gonna be Zangief's.
No.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. It's like, yeah, he does get the damage when he gets in, but he's taking a very big gamble trying to do it.
Pretty much, yeah. And because as the game evolves and then gets more into esports, because I know like this game is definitely aiming to like at least try to.
Yeah, they had
do
their
more
Rage
esports
tournament
stuff.
they were planning, Star Games.
Yeah, the Rage tournament is one of the main ones. Like when that goes through and as the game develops over the years, definitely it should be more, I guess, viable for esports, I guess.
Yeah.
Because for now, like most people are playing for fun right now. Like it's just fun. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, definitely you can tell it's on their roadmap. They're thinking about esports and they're thinking about monetizing it over time as a gacha style downloadable content game.
That's true. Yeah.
So they got to have both of those things in mind, I see. Well, coming with this trailer and this balance patch, the nice thing is we get a new stage. It doesn't look like a super exciting stage, but it's a ring. It's nice to have more variety in terms of stages.
So I was surprised it was like the ring. I was like, okay, all right.
Seems pretty simple, but it's nice to have a nice simple stage compared to all the other stages, because all the other stages have like sky castles in the background and airships flying around.
True. Yeah, it is very different to what we have currently, which is a good mix.
It's a good mix. And what I really like is the addition of these avatars. So they got 2 bunny girls, the referee from the La Diva Super.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be so good. And Bob. And I can't believe I'm getting so excited about avatars, but now that we're locked in and the only time we can meet other people in the game is through our avatars, the avatars are like suddenly really important.
They look so cute. Like they're so awesome. I'm enjoying that they're adding more avatars for sure. Yeah.
I would love to see more characters from the game who are not even in the fighting game and not even planned to be like fighting game characters, because they must have hundreds of them.
Yeah. I want everyone in the anime to be in like an avatar. Like even if we don't have them as fighting game characters, that'd be so awesome.
Rakam, you want Rakam in?
No,
but we want him as a character. I don't want him to be an avatar because that means he might not become a character. I want him to be a character.
Yeah. So far, we only get him on the ship.
I'll tell you who I want. I want Zoe's dragons. I think they're called Learn and Burn or something.
Burn and Burn.
They're not Vern, because Vern is Gran's dragon, right?
Right.
No, I think Zoe's got 2 dragons and they're called Learn and Jern or Kern. I don't know. Something like that.
I
would love to be able to walk
the-
around as those two dragons, just kind of like constantly flying around each other.
Does the Zooey avatar have the dragons with her or no? Do you know?
Oh, I doubt it.
Did they show her? No, I don't know. Actually.
They did show her. They did show her. I can't bring it up right now, but I bet you anything that she doesn't have the dragons floating around.
Okay. She should have the was it her ultimate form where she's just the centaur, just be like ginormous. No, that should be her unique emotion.
That would be so
cool.
good. And then she shows up she shows up in the lobbies when you're playing online. She should just be bigger than the ship.
Yeah. Oh yeah, should just take up the whole like lobby space. Yeah.
Yeah, but then but that said, Yggdrasil is also an avatar, and she's not.
Oh, yeah.
She's not massive, so that's a shame.
Oh,
Wasted opportunity. Well, I think that's about it for the GranBlue Versus news.
yeah. Okay. Sweet.
I think that's exciting stuff, and that's all coming on April 28th. So
28th.
like
right,
almost
yeah.
exactly a week from now.
Oh yeah, that is true. Right? Yeah.
So fast. We're getting so much stuff so fast. So
Well, it's good though because I'm so bored. Give me something. I'm kidding, but like yeah.
No, yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
fair enough. I think everyone is bored. It's good to not deny the truth. Like this is the reality of the situation.
Well, it's nice that we have something to look forward to at least. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to our main topic today, Guilty
Yeah, things
Gear.
that we are looking forward to. Yeah.
Guilty Gear
Guilty
Strive beta test. Now this is going to be quite a fun topic because we were quite excited about this on the previous podcast. This
Yeah.
weekend is going to be Guilty Gear Strive beta test, but
Yeah. But yeah.
it was
Things
eventful.
didn't go. Yeah, things didn't go as expected.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that sums it up quite well.
Either things didn't go as expected, or I don't know what they were expecting.
Yeah.
What did they think was going to happen when they launched this beta test? So the big question I want to ask is not just like how did the beta test go, but in addition to that, is it really a good idea to have beta tests for a game this early in development? And I say early in development, they're planning on releasing this game later this year in 2020.
You mean when you say early in development, you mean late in development?
No, I mean,
Wait,
so this is the thing. I think it is late in development, as in, we're ready for the game to come out in maybe 5 or 6 months' time.
Yeah.
But from what we played in the beta test, it didn't feel like it was a close to finished game. Do you know what I mean?
Like the actual beta when we played it felt like a really early build,
Like a pre-alpha build.
like a super early yeah, they just made it in like a month or two.
Oh, no. I don't think it feels... Oh, no, okay. So it definitely feels like they've put a lot of time into the graphics, the battle
right,
system.
yeah.
I think everything has had a lot of time put into it. I just feel
Right,
like
right.
it is not ready for a successful launch in 6 months'
yeah.
time from now.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. My personal first impressions is I really enjoyed the gameplay so far of the beta. Online, the lobbies were a little bit strange, so I wanted to get up.
Oh,
I saw you
yeah,
get up, so I got up as well.
I need to stretch my legs. Sorry.
It's good. Yeah, that's right. We've been doing this podcast for 20 minutes or so. We should probably stand up. I'm going to do my exercises over here. Just move my mic.
Yeah. All right.
The beta itself, the gameplay, actually, I quite enjoyed it. I don't
Yeah, me
think
too. I did
it's
too.
ready for a tournament. The damage is all over the place, and the counter system is it's like on drugs or something.
There's a lot of mixed there's a lot of mixed feelings about these. Yeah. The thing is, like, it's not universally hated. That's why, like, people like it, people hate it, but then it's
Right, yeah, it's not universally hated. I think it's getting universally criticized. For sure.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
gameplay
Yeah.
and the UI. The UI more than the gameplay, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
People are talking about the gameplay, but the main thing that's on tweets is, whoa, what is wrong with this UI? Why did you do this?
The thing about UI, like, for me personally, I don't mind like whatever happens to the UI because they'll fix it eventually. But like, it's a very I guess subjective topic, like UI and stuff. Like I'm like I would think more about the gameplay stuff. But people are allowed to complain about the UI if they want to. Like I'm not saying you're not allowed to complain about
exactly,
the UI.
yeah.
Yeah, but for me, I'm just like I'll get used to it, like that kind of deal. Like, but some people can't. So maybe it'll affect a lot of people. If the goal is to sell the game a lot, like they'll look at the UI and be like, what is this?
Yeah, well, I think that's more where the criticisms are coming from. From what I've seen, like, even though people are being very vocal, I don't think it's being unfairly vocal. I think what they're voicing their concerns because they want the game to succeed. The people who play Guilty Gear have been through Guilty Gear XX, Accent plus R, Accent Core, Rev 2, Sign, Rev, all these games. They've seen them come out, continue to be niche, and then they struggle to keep the community, nice and large because it's such a niche game. So if anything, if they're going to change the UI, if they're going to change the gameplay to make it more accessible and have new players come in, I think people are supportive of that. But is this UI actually doing that? Is it accomplishing that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just I know they're definitely trying to be different and like new and all that stuff. But is it like too much? That's the question. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to take a few guesses here. I'm guessing that they looked at what they had before, which was arcade machines, and they thought, well, young kids, millennials, Gen Z, or whatever you want to call them, apparently they have never experienced the arcade. And so if we show these 3D arcade units, like the ones sitting right behind us right now, maybe kids won't get it or something. Maybe they're worried that kids actually just won't understand.
Yeah.
And they won't know what to do. Like, do I sit down? Do I go back into ranked because I don't understand who I'm allowed to play with? Like, I can understand that. But this new UI that we've seen, this 2D UI, how does that change it? How does it make it better?
It's definitely like if you've never seen what like the UI looks like, the lobby system, like it definitely reminds you of a different game, but
like Lemmings.
More like Lemmings, but chances are more people will I guess more people in this generation will like relate to that, like the 8-bit style and all that stuff, more than the actual arcade stuff.
Yeah. So as a visual language, I think it's actually quite clever going for this 2D UI. And having it on levels means that in a single screen, you can visualize more characters at once, rather than having like a 3D system.
Yeah.
It's just that
it
doesn't work.
Yeah, it just on a actually if it works or not, it doesn't. There's a little bit of a problem because as we tried in the beta, like everyone was on top of each other trying to get matches. It's just like
but I guess maybe they just didn't have enough people to test it because I imagine that ArcSys, even though it's a very famous company with games that we love very much, I imagine they're still compared to other companies still quite small. So it's like getting hundreds of people to test out a lobby system might not be something they can do until something like a beta test.
Yeah, my theory is that that system, like where everyone had to like pull out their weapon and stuff, like that was not their only system that they had. Like they probably put out this one because they knew that it's probably be the one that would have the most error or like the most like things going wrong. So they put that out first. But like when it comes to like the what they could be doing, they could have like a different system in different rooms. Like they could have different modes. Like when you go to the beta, they have the little selections of like, oh, this is still in development. This is still in development. Yeah. Kind of really hints at like maybe they've got other ways to deal with matchmaking and stuff like that, especially when it's more like to do with like private like lobbies and stuff like that. Definitely might be more easy, or they could not.
I like that theory. My question is, did they show us this UI for the first time on April 1st?
I think they did, right?
See,
actually, I didn't.
If they did, if that's true, then it means they've done the same thing that video game developers have done every year for the past 5 years, which is put out an idea which might be bad, and then if everybody tweets and says, yo, that looks amazing, they're going to try it as the real product.
Maybe, yeah. Like they designed it and everything. It's like, oh, we have this, we might as well put it out and see if it actually works or not.
Exactly. I think because that's what they did with Fighting Layer. Do you remember that?
Fighting Layer?
So EX Fighting Layer.
I saw.
They put it out as a joke. They're like, oh, we're bringing back Fighting Layer. And everyone, tweeted, oh my God, that would actually be amazing. Another version of Fighting Layer. A week
Yeah.
later, by the way, it's
It did.
real. And it's launching in a few weeks. What?
Well, if they built the assets and stuff. I don't
Exactly.
know. It's like, yeah.
I like your theory though. I mean, honestly, I think that the arcade machine is a bit archaic and it doesn't really speak to a large number of young people these days. But I don't think it's worth replacing arcade machines yet if we don't have something that's better than it.
Yeah, if it's not a consistent thing, like they should definitely try something a little more simpler than
Yeah.
for sure. Like they can always change it because it shouldn't be that hard to change lobby matchmaking systems.
Exactly.
It's not the actual game. It's not the actual game. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've already spent a little time talking about this Guilty Gear Strive beta test and UI, but we didn't actually describe it to everyone what it was like. If you weren't there at the Guilty Gear Strive beta test, I'm sure you can find some footage on the internet of it. But essentially, it looks like that game Nidhogg. Have you ever played Nidhogg?
Nidhogg? Nope.
So Nidhogg is a 1 versus 1 game where you start on the left and your opponent starts on the right. And the goal is for the person on the left to get to the goal on the right side. The person on the right's goal is to get to the goal on the left side. So you have to pass by each other and get to the other side.
Wait, you're right. I've played Nidhogg actually.
So you have played. So it's like Prince of Persia. Every time you fight someone in Prince of Persia,
yeah.
except that's the whole game. Get to the other side. It felt like that, but with imagine 25 other people doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're all on the same level, almost.
Exactly. There was an option where if you pressed X to challenge them personally, but it never worked. I don't know why they even bothered, but
it didn't work, and it wasn't visually. I'm sure that on paper it sounded really cool. It'll be like Nidhogg, and when your swords cross, that means you're in a duel. On paper that must have sounded really, really cool, but in actuality, when you've got 25 people in a room, you could have 18 people all look like they're crossing swords and not know who's crossing swords with who, right?
Yeah.
3D space is a thing.
Yeah. They should really when you go into the room, right? People already start matchmaking they don't move away. They should at least make the exit or the entrance a zone where you should get out of here, get out of this space, go find your own space, challenge people there.
It's so true. It's like, I mean, honestly, we played BB Tag, and that's what it's like. You show up in the main zone, but that's not where the arcade machines are. You have to leave the drop zone to go to the machines, and that's where you go and make matches, right?
Fight on the chandelier for all I care. Come on. There was a chandelier in the lobby room, by the way.
Yeah. We should put some pictures up or something so people understand. But yeah, I mean, if anyone has played a previous fighting game like the one that you're looking at right now, we're sitting in a virtual lobby with arcade machines. Imagine these avatars right now. Imagine they did this. There's just like oh, I can't even. So my camera's moved up. See this? We're overlapping. Now imagine there's that's essentially what the lobby looks like. And again, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I just don't think implementation-wise, I don't think it was quite there
yet. Yeah, for sure.
But let's talk about the game instead of just the UI.
Yeah, I mean, the UI doesn't really need much talking. It's just it just needs work. That's it.
And it was a funny thing that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, it is funny, but it's hilarious. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it doesn't affect the game as a whole for sure. But
it won't. Yeah. So first impressions when you played it offline first.
Yeah, the fact that not being able to have a training mode definitely makes people it makes it harder to understand what's going on.
Especially because things have changed. The whole Gatling system.
Yeah. So it's hard to tell what to do, but people made it work. To those people, I say kudos because you guys are amazing. Because I can never get that. I can never have the patience to get that to work. But yeah, the playing on the first day, technically before the session started, right? The CPUs was pretty fun. I got to play all the characters and stuff, but yeah, it was okay, I guess. But then playing against an actual person it definitely makes it more different. It feels much more different when you play against other people for sure.
Well, especially in what I've experienced so far with Guilty Gear Strive, because playing against the computer, it was playing against a low-level training dummy that you can't switch off. It just keeps pressing buttons every now and then. So it's just kind of annoying. But it feels like in Guilty Gear Strive, getting counter hit. So your opponent presses a button, and then you press a button afterwards. That's not, I don't want to say the whole game, but it seems like that's going to be a very important part of this game, right? And when you're playing against the computer only, you just don't experience any of that because you can't trick them into pressing buttons because they're a computer. They don't have a mind to trick, right?
Yeah.
So it was only really when we went online on Saturday and Sunday that we were able to actually like experience what it was like to try and get counter hit off each other.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think it was wild, but it was it was
Soul,
it was fun.
Soul
like,
bad guy was wild.
Soul
Wild
was
throw.
Wild, like, wild throw, yeah, being able to like, run up to someone and throw them, it's crazy. It's fun.
The damage was insane.
Yeah, I know, it was so good. Like, and then Potemkin with his his command throw, being able to kill someone in like two hits. Two throws, it was like, God, ooh, this is crazy. But
that's something that's easy to change and balance. Even if it launches with crazy damage like that, they can change that over time.
Yeah, exactly.
There are things that can't be changed though, like the gameplay, the general gameplay elements itself. Like that's harder to tweak. But did you enjoy the gameplay? I mean, compared to, you've played a little bit of Guilty Gear Rev 2.
Yeah, like I own the game and stuff. I tried playing a lot of. Well, like when did I play it actually? But last year I think I played a lot of it, but I couldn't really get any matches online. I think when I was playing.
Yeah.
Well, like,
I mean, the game has been out for like a few years now. So.
But then even if I did, most of the people still playing are like people who are like really good at the game. So it was really hard to get people to play at my level, like just to learn at the same time because everyone was already gone ahead of that, Yeah, I tried getting a couple of people to play with me, but then it's just the game is just not. I don't know, for them it wasn't that, like they didn't feel like playing it.
Yeah, it's not like it's not one of the main games being shown at Evo. There's not as many tournaments running for it, so it's harder to get into the meta and the excitement and the hype of it.
Yeah, but then I mean, people could say just like you could just keep at it and just get your butt kicked by the higher level people, but I mean, I guess that is technically true. I could do that, but there are other games, but or I could just go back to playing Street Fighter 5. But this game, because the thing is, like, one of the goals was like they wanted people to start at the same spot when this game comes out, right? So like all of your Rev 2 knowledge is gonna go out the window, kind of deal.
Most of it.
Like, I mean, like, fighting game skills, like the universal fighting game skills still roll over, but the actual Rev 2, the Rev, like, Guilty Gear, the old Guilty Gear game knowledge and skill kind of like gets twisted or even thrown out.
Right.
So,
yeah, and I think a lot of things probably will get thrown out, and that's probably what some of the higher level players are worried about. Like, there's shaking it up, but if you just shake up the gameplay a bit, then it's like, well, give the pros 2 weeks and they'll have learned all the new tricks anyway.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But if you actually take certain systems out or change the way they work fundamentally, then it's like there's no coming back for some of these techniques that were learned in previous games.
Pretty much, yeah. And the fact that the beta was, it might not be the final version, it's just like, it's hard to judge what this is because, there's no training mode, there's no way you can actually sit down and like, analyze every single tiny aspect of the game. Right. There wasn't enough time for that. Everyone was too busy just playing the game and just feeling it as for going by feel, basically. Yeah. So basically it's tricky to, decide if this is if this is going to be good or not, but then, I think we just need more time for sure.
I'll tell you what I haven't heard, though. I haven't heard a lot of opinions from people like our level. Like, we own Rev 2, but we haven't got a lot of experience with Guilty Gear. And even players who are, completely new to fighting games. I haven't heard, like, any opinions from that group of people.
You know what? Funny you mentioned that, because I feel like, I didn't really I played Rev 2 a little bit, but I don't have that much experience in Rev 2 and everything. But the fact that I had, like, just, I have universal fighting game skills from, like, a couple of games, that actually helped me enjoy the game much more. If that makes sense. Like, I was able to win my matches because I had a decent understanding of how fighting games work in general. But because, the system is just brand new, there's a lot of things that people are still working out. Like, and the fact that it doesn't work as complicated as Rev 2, I was able to enjoy it because I was, I could play fighting games on a decent level.
Right, okay. So your transferable skills were actually fairly helpful.
It was transferring. But they weren't transferring from Rev 2, or like because I didn't play Rev 2. But like when I've read a lot of people's comments, people's experiences coming from Rev 2 to Strive didn't really work at all. So like I saw a lot of comments like that. So I was like, oh, okay. They were still able to play the game and enjoy it because, it works as a fighting game, and like everyone knows how fighting games work. So yeah,
I imagine that for the pro players, this is a bit of a far-fetched analogy. Maybe it's a bit like if you took the joystick portion of the arcade stick and you put it on the right side, and you put the buttons on the left. Maybe that's how it felt for them to play the game. Like the controls are all in reverse.
Basically,
it's like when you eat a poison mushroom in Zelda, and all the directions are backwards. And
although one of the things actually, when you said about the buttons and stuff, I think Gatling was definitely one of the things that was really highly looked down on. What they said was like Gatling was simpler, but in actuality, it didn't really make it simpler. They made it more limiting, but at the same time, the limited options made everything look like a target combo, basically. So every character had a different target combo, and then it made it way more complicated than what Gatling used to be. So people were like, "What? I thought you guys were supposed to make it simpler."
So how did Gatling work before? Was it
So
more
Gatling,
like punch, kick, S, HS?
Yeah, so basically, you know how certain attack buttons have like a certain strength, and then to basically a Gatling is like moves that can cancel into each other.
Right.
So you could just press like from the lightest to the strongest button, like in that order, and then it'll make a combo. But then in this game, it doesn't happen like that.
Right.
Like some attacks, some button combinations will do that feeling, will have that exact thing, but it just ends up being like just target combos.
Okay, so what I'm gathering from this conversation is that, I mean, because people often talk about how they like Guilty Gear because they can kind of improvise. It's kind of musical. They can make stuff up on the fly and really feel like they're expressing themselves, people like to say, with Guilty Gear. But that's because of the Gatling system, which is, there's a rule. Fast button goes into slower button and accordingly to like create these combos, right? But if it's just pre-programmed that it only works like this, and then this button for this character, and then this, and this button for a different character, then it just starts to feel more like Street Fighter, where, Ryu has a target combo, but it's not the same as the target combo for Ibuki and stuff like that.
It's a weird idea, because the Gatling is more freeform and it does look intimidating, but at the same time, if you think about it, that means you can essentially get a combo from any button as long as you press them in the right way, like in the order. Versus,
is that a good thing?
Yeah, the thing is, it's hard to tell because I'm guessing like what ArcSys is definitely looking at it differently to what other people are thinking about it, right? Because like maybe they think the freeform Gatling style was just a little bit like intimidating, but at the same time other people like, is it really that intimidating? isn't like having like specific button combinations more intimidating? I mean, technically you could just get used to it.
I'm not convinced that casual players knew what Gatling was. I don't think anyone had ever thought about the term. I mean, I own the game and I played it for a long time, but I never really thought about the Gatling system.
Yeah, I guess naming it like that was definitely a little bit weird. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But Under Night In-Birth has the same thing, actually, doesn't it? It has reverse beat.
Reverse beats, yeah. Okay. What do you think about reverse beats then?
Well, again, I didn't get to a level where I could take advantage of it, but as I gather it, it's like you could be mid-combo and you've used your heavy button and you've used your light button, but fortunately, because of the system, that reverse beat is a thing, so I can go from a heavy button into a medium button afterwards. So as long as I haven't used that button yet, I can still use it and potentially extend this combo. So on a high level, I think it's important, and I think reducing it to like simplifying it, I don't think that really helps casual players, because I don't think casual players ever reach that point where they know that it existed anyway.
Right.
I don't think really low level casual players are improvising like jazz. I don't think they're inventing combos on the fly anyway. They're just pressing buttons and hoping that it becomes a combo. And because of reverse beat, it is more likely that it will become a combo. But this new Gatling system that you're explaining for Guilty Gear Strive, it doesn't sound like it's increasing the ability to... If anything, it's reducing the ability for button mashing to lead to combos.
Basically, what it really feels like is just like they just took Gatling out, and like what the Gatling really is now is just a bunch of like target combos that can knock down or whatever, or can like cancel into specials, whatever. Yeah.
So what about visually? What do you think of the game visually?
visually it looks amazing.
I think it looks incredible.
Yeah, I think definitely they put a lot of like time and care into like the graphics and all that stuff for sure. Going from what Rev 2 to this one, yeah, it looks so much. Yeah, like it's a generation leap for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we were playing Rev 2 last year, we just dipping into it a little bit. I was like, what was the point in upgrading the graphics? It looks amazing right now. But now that I've played the demo, I totally see it now. I'm like, oh my god, this is completely different. It's so different.
Exactly.
In a good way.
Yeah. I thought GranBlue was okay. I was like, oh, GranBlue looks so great. But then this game
we came back to GranBlue like a few days later. I was like, oh my god.
Like,
wow, this is what we used to have.
Like my eyes, they're like
my eyes, they hurt.
But in a good way.
But in a good way, yeah, because, fortunately, GranBlue, it was anime to start with, and it makes sense. Like, upgrading GranBlue to look better than the anime doesn't really help, because making it look as much like the 2D anime as possible is actually, like, better for the fans.
Yeah, for sure.
For Guilty Gear, like, this is a series we've had for over a decade, right? So it's like, whoa, it's evolving, it's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm quite excited, to see that. Like, I think a lot of people were waiting for like the next iteration because it has been 3, like this Rev 2 came out in 2017, I think.
Yeah. Plus Rev 2 comes after Rev, which comes after Sign.
So Sign came out even earlier, so we're talking maybe like 2014.
And the graphics themselves haven't really changed since that version, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. From then on, it was basically at the same graphics engine and stuff like that. Like, so having like this, we're now into 2020, and now like they decided to revive the series, or
reinvent.
I mean, like, do you remember? Yeah, reinvent basically. I think the key word is reinvent for sure. It's quite nice, but then going from what 2019's Evo trailer to now, there's a huge discrepancy. Like how when they first announced the game, it was like, oh my god, it's Guilty Gear, and then now the hand in our hands is like. Yes, it's Guilty Gear, but something just doesn't click.
It's so vast, the difference between what people like were saying about it last year with the trailer, and now that we've had gameplay at like for example Evo Japan, or I don't know which tournament it was earlier this year, that people had a chance to like get some first-hand experience with it. Like wow, what people are saying about it is completely different, but not that they like hate it. It's just they want the best for the game. You can tell. Yeah. They want this game to be fun and to live and to last. Not just to be the new game for a couple months and then we all drop it because Gatling is weird.
I feel like there's definitely a lot of outside factors that might be affecting, like the fact that everyone's being indoors this whole time. I think it's just harder to be more optimistic. I feel maybe.
I think that's. I agree.
Yeah, it's harder to be optimistic about things, especially with all this going on. And even though we were kind of warned ahead of time, like by Daisuke, like kind of thing, saying like this isn't going to be like the old Guilty Gears. People, I guess, maybe didn't want to believe that, or like they still believed it, like they took it, but then when they actually got their hands on it, it was still what they didn't think would be like. But
I'm so glad that you speak about it in that way, because I think it's really true. It's like you tell the kids, let's say that it's September and it's your birthday in September, right? It's like, sorry, there's no birthday party for September. It's like, oh, well, don't worry. At least we'll have Halloween. And then Halloween arrives. It's like, sorry, you've got to go to the dentist. You're not allowed to have any candy today. It's like, nuts. Well, at least we've got Thanksgiving. It's like, okay, sorry. All the turkeys, there's avian flu, so no turkeys for Thanksgiving. You're like, dang. Well, at least we've got Christmas. And then, like, Christmas, you open the Christmas present, and it's like, Gatling. It's like, what? No! I think that's why it's so painful right now, because people, this is all we had left.
Yeah.
After coronavirus it's killing people, it's changing lives, it's potentially destroying the economy for years to come, and then it's like the one thing that we really wanted from 2019, and now we finally got it, and it's really weird.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like. You see that someone like eating, like, what's this food you're eating? Oh, you don't want to eat it though. It tastes kind of different. Oh, I want to have it anyways. And then it's like, what is this? I told you it's going to taste different.
Yeah. That's exactly what it's like. Listen, I think the game looks amazing. When I don't think about the actual game systems, I think it was fun to play. I think the counter system feels like it's on drugs. Seriously, you get counter hit, and suddenly the whole game is drunk. Like the camera goes wild.
I was like, yeah.
But I kind of like that. What I really like about the zooming in on the special counter hit in the corner. What I like about that is it's not thinking about what we've had in fighting games up until this point. Because, for example, StarCraft, the camera never zooms down to ground level. You're always top view, right? So for people who like real-time strategy games, it would be terrible if the new StarCraft zoomed down to ground level just to be cool and cinematic. People would hate that because it's like they just want to stay up there in the clouds with their strategy, right? That's what makes this really difficult because people have played fighting games and very few fighting games ever zoom in and out, apart from maybe like Samurai Showdown, and even then it's not that dramatic.
Yeah,
but changing the camera angle when you're like trying to figure out your combos in the corner,
changing it when you can still move, it's just like a little bit. I mean, yeah.
So I mean, I know that will be very frustrating for people to accept, but I quite like that as an idea because I think we talked about this briefly while we were playing the beta, but everyone's in the same boat. It's not like only player one has the zoom feature. It's like if you get a corner combo later and you get counter hit, it's gonna happen to you too. So it's not like it's an unfair system.
I feel like it's not gonna be like a problem if you keep playing it, right? Like eventually, like people get used to it. I think.
I hope so.
I feel like it could work. Yeah, like it can work.
I think it could work.
Like if it, if people play for like a month and it still doesn't work, okay, then we have a problem. But I feel like, it's just something that can be gotten used to. So yeah, like, and it looks cool. It looks cool. Like I know it doesn't look practical, but if you can get used to it, like it could work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit like BB tag. You know how we drill down into these target combos. So it's like you've got different routes. You've got like AAA, but you've also got AAB, or you've got ABB. There's different. It's like you start with A and then you go through the different routes to get to the combo you're trying to get to. Like I think when we first got systems like that, it was like no, fighting games should not play like this. But I think we eventually got used to it. It was like okay, target combo. Auto combo is a thing, and there's a way to have fun with this. And I think this will be the same. I think they'll keep this system in the final game. It seems weird now because changing the camera angle when we're trying to keep our spacing and stuff, that may be a little weird, but I think it seems like it could work in theory if it's handled well.
I think it just needs time. I think people playing it for the first time is definitely disorienting, but at the same time, once you've gotten used to it, it could work. In fact, it might be even like it'll be great for people outside to be watching as well. Definitely, that's
the thing. Yeah, how will it be worth the trade-off?
Yeah,
will people enjoy watching it so much that we go like, I'm so glad it does this?
Yeah. Definitely, when I watch like most games on like tournaments and stuff, definitely like getting those corner combos. It doesn't look. It looks okay. I mean, like they're getting damage, but then. With this game, there's that extra oomph to it that makes you want to like yell out. It's crazy. Like I feel like it's got that potential. Like
Tekken does that really well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
what do they call it? Rage art.
Rage arts and stuff. Yeah. Or like the slow mo at the end when
that's what I mean. Yeah, the slow mo.
I think
they're so good. They're so good because you actually don't know who pressed the button first until the game tells you at the end of that slow mo clip, and you're like, oh, it was me. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I feel like stuff like that, stuff that can be like, things that can get used to, just give it a chance. I think, maybe it'll be good in the long run for sure.
I'm willing to give it a chance.
Being able to like saying, no, I don't want this. This is like disorienting. I don't want this at all. Like, it's kind of like, I mean, okay, I get what you mean for sure. Everyone has their, preferences and all, but, I think we're at a stage where there's so many fighting games out there that there needs to be a game that kind of like does different things. And,
I think we have enough space. We have enough fighting games out there that we can allow companies to play about with some of them and try new stuff with them. It's just if you're a hardcore Guilty Gear fan, it's like
exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, we're not talking from their perspective, so it's difficult. I understand.
Yeah, that's true.
One last thing I want to say about the Strive beta is that I love the music from Guilty Gear when it's on my iPod. But when it's But when it's the metal,
I know
when
where
it's
you're going
heavy
with this.
metal music every single round, and I've heard rumors that maybe it'll just have lots and lots of different music tracks from other Guilty Gear games available in
Oh.
it. That would be really cool if that's true. But even then, Guilty Gear does have a very heavy metal thing going on, and
Yeah.
there's a reason why I don't go to heavy metal gigs anymore. You know, as much as I love heavy metal, I like it for like 10 minutes at a time. I'll put a heavy metal track on and I'll headbang in my room with the lights off, and it's great. But then I'll turn it off and I'll go back to other things. But like you play Guilty Gear, like we were playing the beta for like 2 or 3 hours in a row. I was like, I'm getting a bit of a headache. Starting to feel a bit seasick from playing this game because the music is like constant heavy metal drone and not that it's bad. I love heavy metal, but not this much of it.
Definitely, when we compare to games like GranBlue, right? Like they have such much like variety, like in music and like character like designs and feel. Like, you know, Loin's the joke character. We've got like crazy funny music. We've got epic music. We've got like serene music.
And Jita's
you
one
know,
is like a
these-
pop idol song.
Yeah, it's got like a very poppy feel as well.
No, Maya's like a hardcore, like not hardcore, like a dance club.
And then we've got like Soritz's like soya that kind of thing.
So good, so good.
Yeah, like we've got so much variety. It's easy to like, you know, you don't get tired of listening to the same type of music every day. But like with Guilty Gear, I can understand that because they play the same genre, that might turn people off. Like definitely some people will love it. Some people will be like, yeah, I can't get enough of this. But then definitely I know for sure that there will be people who will definitely not like enjoy being able, like having their, you know, ears like getting destroyed.
I'm glad that you put it like that because it reminds me of going to my friends' parties, house parties.
Yeah.
There's always one room, you know? There's a CD player and people are playing System of a Down, Tool, and Tool and System of a Down. It's like, okay, we get it. You like metal. I'm going to join this room. I'm going to chat with you for 10 minutes and then I'm out of here because I cannot be in this room for too long. And that's what it's like. I think that's what it's like with the music in this game. This is a room that I would like to dip into every now and then. And the people who are in the room, they're happy being there all night long. But there's only about 5 of them.
Pretty much. Yeah. The hardcore fans.
The hardcore fans. So if they really do want to open up Guilty Gear to get a larger audience, I would consider opening up the variety of music types.
Yeah. From what we have now, it definitely doesn't look like it's going to happen, but, you know, hopefully they'll, you know, when the game comes out, they will have songs that we haven't heard before, and there will be, like, you know, a balance.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, so far we've got, like, the new theme song, but actually the character select screen, it's the same tune from Rev 2 in the beta.
Oh, yeah,
Wasn't
it
it?
Is.
Down, or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was. Well, any other closing thoughts about Guilty Gear beta test?
Closing beta test?
I'm actually itching to play it again now that we've been talking about it.
I know, right? Like when we played on Sunday, the last.
Oh yeah, you played a
session,
bit more after that, didn't you?
I played to the end.
Okay, how did it go?
Yeah, it was fun. Like I didn't get as much matches as I thought I would, but you know, I just sat there and like, you know, like watched, like listened to YouTube or other streams while the matches were like coming out. I just stood there,
just watching it crash every now and then.
But yeah, it did crash. Like when the first session was out, like everyone was crashing. It was so crazy. I was like, oh man,
good times.
Yeah.
One day we're gonna look back on this and remember how hilarious it was.
Yeah. Remember when betas were actually like beta, like not like, you know, near alpha, like basically near finished, you know?
Yeah.
Final words. I feel like they do need some work. I don't mind if they delay the game just to like fine tune it even more.
Same.
But definitely what they have now is probably less than ideal. But it is fun. Like, for sure. Like I wouldn't say scrap everything and make Rev 3. No.
No. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
What they have can work, but they just need to retweak some stuff. Like the damage might be one thing for sure. Like that's, I think, one thing that pops out immediately, like just the damage stuff. But yeah, you know, games when they first come out, they're not like the best, the perfect. Definitely, like even whatever comes out on day one, you know, it won't be the same build in the future. They might patch things up, or they might retweak it,
Yeah.
overhaul it
Yeah.
in a couple of months later when people, decided, hey, we still hate this, by the way. But
Well,
but it'll
This
time
is
will
this
tell,
is a
but,
game
yeah.
that comes from a much earlier generation of games where, they would had they had the flexibility to release new versions of the game. Like, not everything was Street Fighter V. It's the game. It's gonna be like this for the next 4 years. We had Street Fighter Alpha. Like, that was a bit of a weird game. And then Alpha 2 came out. It was very different. And that was only like a year later, or a year and a half
Yeah.
later. And then Alpha 3 was only like a year and a half later after that, I think. And in the current generation, we would just have Street Fighter Alpha and then have, system updates. But in
Right.
those
Yeah.
days, we had Alpha 2. It's like, okay, custom combo is the main way to play this game now. And then Alpha 3 was like, custom combo is a method, but you've also got the X-ism and the A-ism
yeah.
as well. So who knows? I feel like Guilty Gear, they haven't said that it's going to be like Street Fighter 5 updates only. Who knows? Maybe they could do Rev and then Rev 2.
It's Arxis. They can basically, if people want it, there's chances it can happen,
Yeah,
Like,
as long as the company's
Arxis
still
have
afloat.
made a lot of games, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. But
Hopefully they can get more money from Psy Games.
oh, yeah.
We'll make you more DLC. Please
Sorry, yeah,
hire
sorry,
us
yeah.
again. I think it's fair to say that there's criticism out there, but we want this company to survive because they gave us Dragon Ball, they gave us GranBlue, they've given us Guilty Gear, Sign, Rev and Rev 2. We want them to survive with this. We want this to go well.
Yeah, they've done so much for fighting games. And,
Really have, yeah. Should we move on
Did you
to
have
the
any-
final topic? Oh, my final thoughts? No.
Did you say? No, okay.
No, I didn't play it. Well, I didn't play after we played that final session on Sunday.
Fair enough, okay, sure.
So final topic, the online local. This is actually just very, very brief. Just a little quick overview of what happened on Saturday and then whether we plan to do it again. Give them a rundown of what happened on Saturday.
Gio wasn't able to play because he was moving.
Oh yeah, he was in the middle of moving. He had to sell his TV recently, didn't he?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he couldn't even play it if he
'cause-
wanted to.
Yeah. Well, he asked me actually, like, if I really wanted him in, and I was like, nah, sell your TV or something, because apparently because they'd have to pay more to
Yeah,
move
no,
the TV
moving
as
is
well.
stressful enough. Yeah, get rid of the TV.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so definitely next time for sure. But yeah.
Well, give the listeners a rundown of if they didn't hear the previous episode. What is the online local?
It's like a private lobby where we can get together and play games, but because, if you announce it early and basically set it up as an event, basically it becomes more like a local, essentially. Like we used to have, every week we'd have,
Back in
Red
the day,
Bull, you'd come back in the day.
back in the day when we could go
it's
outside.
like we can go outside and meet the same people and play the same game. So definitely we're trying to create that feeling by creating yes, this is a private lobby, but also if we put some more meaning behind it, definitely
Right.
people would come, definitely get to play each other more frequently, and definitely meet. I think was it Aaron? Aaron definitely liked it a lot because he could finally talk to people while he was playing as well. So he could talk to us, he could talk to the players he were playing against. I think that was a big deal with that because with most games online, you don't really have that communication. You don't really have a sense
Yeah.
of where they're from or where they are or what they're here for.
Yeah.
They're just here to play games for sure, but they're not here to be part of something, be part of a community.
And moreover, even if you just do battle lounges as part of your personal streaming, the point is to see the streamers' matches, and so it's it can't be as even, and we're focusing on each other. But because the whole point of it is to replace our inability to go to local events. It's okay,
Definitely.
it's less about the streamer now. It's more about let's all get as many matches as we can, and with as many different opponents as we can, get experience, regularity. I mean, focusing on regular people attending and, like you say, getting to know people's habits and understanding your own habits and what you need to fix and all that. And then people get to learn your bad habits, and then they can tell you in the stream chat, oh, by the way, you keep jumping when I do this. That's why you died.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely the focus is not on us anymore. It's on everyone that comes.
Right.
So that way everyone gets more an equal limelight. Everyone gets to everyone's actions become magnified. When you go to a local, you fight someone that's next to you. Everything you do suddenly has more meaning behind it. It definitely because they can see what you're doing. They know it, and because they can play you again. If they want to again, later today, they can actually remember what you were playing and then Yeah, and then but you can remember what they were playing like too, so it kind of like keeps like that, and definitely like being able to, like when everyone's their eyes on you as well, like definitely it feels different for sure.
I would say that I mean generally all of what we've been describing, I think we achieved most of it through the event, with the obvious limitations that it's not quite as ideal as doing it offline, because when you do it offline, you can have private chats with people. So it's like I'm just standing next to Aaron and we're watching you, Kalibur, having a match with someone else, and I could just say to Aaron like, "Wait, what was that? What did he do there?" He's like, "Oh, maybe you haven't seen that before. That's when this happens." Stuff like that. Whereas now, like the only chat is the big Twitch stream chat. It's just all out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there is like that little, that little private stuff we can't like, the little nuances that, actual locals have that we can't really replicate. But at the same time, well, when we went to locals, we weren't there as the hosts, or we weren't there as the event organizers, but technically we are kind of like the event organizers in this sense.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, yeah, so we do have to put ourselves more out there and like more like, to keep the other players more like, feel welcome. When we go to locals, we just have fun and stuff like that, but we also enjoy stuff. But now,
and drink the Red Bull,
because drink Red Bull. We're gonna mail Red Bull to everyone that attends.
No, we're not. unless Red Bull wants to get involved.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. That'd be so
#,
cool.
sponsor us.
Email NihongoGamer at.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the description box or something.
Yeah. All right.
No, but seriously, I think the event went well. I think the most important thing was just doing it, as opposed to like overthinking it. Like, what would be the perfect way to replace offline locals with online locals? Like, if you think about it, you could think about it for 6 months. Put on an event, it still wouldn't be right. But definitely just jumping in, doing it, learning, and then I guess for the next event, I guess if we have time, are we planning on doing it on Saturday again this week?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if we find a better time slot, I guess we can do it again. Like just to
watch Twitter, everyone. We'll put details in the description if we realize that the date will be different. But yeah, check out the Kalibur and the NihongoGamer Twitters. We'll put out like a little tweet about whether we're doing the event again. The goal is not to be a massive event and make sure that everyone in Japan is only playing at our event or anything. It's not the point.
Yeah,
like you said last week, it's okay if this event dies and goes away after the virus situation is finished. It's just, we just want a place where people show up regularly and we can get matches and get more out of the matches than when we play online usually.
Yeah.
Because lobbies and battle lounges and ranked, just there's certain limits to what you can do in those platforms.
Exactly. Like even with these limitations and stuff, it's hard to get the perfect event out there. But the fact that what you said earlier, that we're just getting them, doing it is very important, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll learn more from doing it and learning on the job rather than over planning it and not really learning very much.
Ironically, that is like basically what people give advice for when people want to start their YouTube, right? You just gotta put out videos.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I think.
So yeah.
I think it's difficult because there are a number of people who, like, for my personal YouTube channel, I don't want to say that I'm shameless. I don't want to go that far, but I'm okay with having videos out there that weren't 100% ready. Whereas other people, like, they don't want to develop that way. They want to start with good, pristine presentation and then continue with that. I don't have any videos of Beyonce looking terrible because her presentation was on point from the start. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I guess that's the difference, really. But either way, making stuff, doing it is so important. Same with fighting games, with music, with videos, with anything, really.
Yeah, because this is definitely this is a different style that we've used to, because you've been streaming a lot longer than I have, but I've been streaming for maybe quite a bit, enough to say that I have
oh yeah,
I can tell what's good or not, but then doing this is definitely a very different experience.
So different, because especially when you stream or when you do YouTube, both of them are it's the me show. Everybody is here to ask me stuff or to give me advice, and it's all the me show. And suddenly to do a stream where it's the everyone show,
it's the people.
And that's actually the whole point. That's why we're doing it. It's a really good learning process, I think.
Yeah, hopefully, next time we can definitely evolve as we go on, but hopefully, when things get better in the real world, we can just
get rid of this and just go back to real life locals. Hopefully.
Exactly. Yeah, but so far it has been an amazing experience for so far. But quite enjoying it, and people there, like the fact that there are people who are actually happy that this is here is definitely makes it worth it.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Appreciation makes all the difference.
Yeah. So I'm happy to keep doing this. So yeah.
Well, even if people don't appreciate it, I think that at least the two of us will appreciate showing up to play. So there will always be at least two people who appreciate it.
Yep. And then Gio when he finally gets his TV.
When he gets his TV, does he even own the game?
That's the question I keep asking myself every single day. Yeah.
I'm just joking.
I'll have to call him.
That's about it for now. Anything else you want to add before we close up?
Not really.
Awesome. Well, everyone, if you're interested in Zooey, she'll be out on the 28th. There's DLC, a stage, and avatars coming out on the same day, so that's exciting. The Guilty Gear game, I don't know if they're going to do another beta test, but I really hope they do have another beta test before launching the final game. The online local, unless you hear otherwise, it'll probably be at the same time, Saturday night for Japan, but Saturday afternoon for Europe, and maybe Friday night, Saturday morning for the West. For North America. Right. So we'll let you know in the description and or a tweet or something to let you know exactly what time it's going to be at. And Kalibur, tell them where they can find you.
Oh yeah, so you can find me on Twitter /KaliburVS. Same thing with Twitch /KaliburVS. Yeah.
It's twitch.tv.
Oh yeah, twitch.tv. Okay.
Get it right.
All
right, guys.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this. And if you got any feedback, anything else you'd like us to cover in future episodes,
wow,
we spoke so much about Guilty Gear. I didn't think we had that many opinions about it, but we really did.
Who knew?
Yeah, if you guys have any feedback, anything you want us to cover in future episodes of the show, let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Yeah. Bye.